Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Mythic Showdown Season 2, powered by War Drum Games. Yes, guys, we are back into the banger. It is one of the best league of India right now going in the winter season, and you are right now witnessing the 1-1 bracket. Yes, guys. I mean, one lose, one win, and this teams are ready to fight with each other right now. Venom Esports in the left side versus Team Across in the right side. The thickest stage of the Switch game is already in. It's me, your boy STZ in the casting days, and with me none than my friend Volky will be there. And remarkably, if I will think about it, the last time I didn't even cast with him. It was like he was the host and I was the caster. It was last year, and after that, I was eagerly waiting for a chance to cast with him. But something happens and we never get the slot with each other. But right now we are back, and this is my first time casting with my brother. So brother, are you happy with me, or you're just so much excited that I'm going to cast with him?
Man, it's exciting. It's an honor to be casting to the one and only GOAT STZ, one of the best play-by-players in India right now, with his unlimited charisma when in terms of play-by-play, which is very good. Honestly, I'm always flabbergasted when he takes the mic on his hands, but like I said, it's an honor to be casting with him right now. And tonight, though, let's see. We're going to be getting Venom Esports, like you said, versus Crux Requiem. I did know that Venom are like a new form of team that have been showing a lot of discipline, most likely in the Dark Horse section, right? And also Crux Requiem, also known as Tartarus before, which some of the members have disbanded, but some still continue the legacy, but in a different name. So Ash, are you excited?
I'm excited, of course, because Venom Esports matches, and if I'm not gonna cast, then who will be there? Because the first day they played with RNTX, Elusivity, they were so, good in that game, because that game goes for 25 minutes, 26 minutes, 58 seconds. A lot of drama happened in that whole through the game. Absolute cinematic gameplay from Venom Esports, so too from Elusivity. There was a time when Elusivity was in the verge of losing the game, but then they make their comeback just in the inch of, you can say, health into the base. A cannon minion was standing there. Godspeed came. He just cleared it out. Comeback happened, but then Venom Esports didn't just fall back. They tried to collect themselves, come back into the 0-1 stage, finds their win, and now they're here into the 1-1. But Crux Requiem haven't casted their one game in this Mythic Showdown Season 2. It's my first game to cast for them. I'm not so well through the roster as well, but I'm well through one thing, that what I heard from my co-caster, that Crux Requiem is kind of having that mid to late game prioritized. They're not playing into the early phase that much. Their objectives specify in the early phase, and into the mid to late, they will collect the micro, and most probably they will go for those structures as well. But now we are here into the draft phase. We're gonna know all those trump cards getting open, because this is a BO1 series. You need to rule out, otherwise you will be taken out and you'll be going to the 2-1, not the 2-1, 1-2 stage, which will not be a good stage for you. It will be a vulnerable one. But I hope so. Both the teams will show their best in this game so far. And now, draft phase is on, and we can see all these bans coming in from the side of Team Venom Esports as well as from Team Crux Requiem.
Indeed. And the first phase of the game, it seems like Crux is going for a solid ban here, known as the Baxia, because the Baxia has been wreaking havoc, especially the last time I casted in the South Asia Grand Tournament. I heard that Bhutan likes picking this Baxia on their jungle, go for the Harriet or the Gold Lane as well. But it could be different for Crux Requiem, but having a walking anti-heal before even taking a dominance, it could be a nuisance. So they take that out for now. But on the side of Venom Esports, they're going to be prioritizing the Queen of Ruins. That is going to be the Alice here. So having that out of the way just gives a breather for their lineup to not, instantly get caught by the Flowing Blood that's going to be coming paired up with the Throne of Ruins. And here comes the second ban. That's going to be, I would say, a Grok, which I would say maybe kind of centered towards the side of Crux Requiem, when we did know that Doom or Are here likes to play those slow heroes, like a very farm heroes, and that I think they are looking forward to, give this focus bet onto the room for them.
Yeah, obviously. And like Alice nowadays, after the revamp, is so good into the
Yeah.
EXP, so do into the team fight participation. Just because of the mobility, and she's kind of hard to taken out as well. Even though you're building out those true damage, you cannot even prioritizing the killing onto Alice. So having that into the ban stage, so do the Grok. And I believe Grok ban is nowadays is not so superior, because for me, you can actually recuperate it with Minotaur, because Minotaur is kind of 70% Grog, 30% Angela. He can give the heal out there, so do the knockoff with the help of the Minion Fury. So I believe Minotaur will be a potential pick for the side of Venom Esports. Okay, they're banning out the CC here. No chance for the Gatot Kacha CC combo to comes in. But there is a Lancelot ban, okay. So, I can say that nowadays we don't see the Lancelot ban a lot, because it's kind of into the nerf stage. Even though it's still in the S tier, but still, it's not so good. You have the counter for the Lance. You can go with the Haya. You can go with the Lucas. Even if you want, you can go for a Comfort Ishanshin pick. But there you go. Chushin, a needed ban. But it's opening the trade for the Kimi as well. The first pick, Kimi, or maybe Gatot Kacha, or they can go with the Ishanshin. Hayabusa, all this thing open.
Oh.
Okay.
Seems like Venom Esports are gonna go for the mid lane DPS. It seems like they are looking for an entrance of the fighter gold, as we know in this current meta. Would say the current meta does lean to the side of fighter gold, but it really isn't that much of a meta here, because if you're comfort on your gold, that you can also win games. If you're comfort on the fighter meta, you can also win games. It depends on how you basically execute your macros and micros. But oh, there we go. What I want to say is Gatot Kacha I think is one of the best roamers in this current meta right now. The fact that this guy has a very high win rate. If the previous tournaments I've casted, everybody using a Gatot always wins. So this is actually a very nice thing to see.
Of course, Gatot Kacha is nowadays literally a beast into the roam. And you do have a lot of combo with each and everybody around him. Like Alice, if you can go for the Blood Ruin and Gatot AOG combo. CC there as well. Kimi even somehow works better with the Gatot Traction Pulse with the AOG. So ultimate, which can actually accumulate with so many, not accumulate, which actually blend with so many other ultimates, is actually a better, roamer for the scene, rather than you go with some off meta or maybe some heal, Minotaur, Kalea, all these things. But still, the Kalea Minotaur prioritization is not over yet into the scenario. We're going to see the Kalea coming out from the Venom Esports. So do they are going for the Lapu Lapu, but my friend already told that they have a Kimi. Fighter gold might be a thing for them. So we are not sure this Lapu is going into the EXP or a flex to the gold. So we will talk about it in the second picking phase, but into the banning phase, we're entering again. And before that, the Eve pick is being there. Look, this is the combo I was talking about. RWM slowing you down, AOG coming in, beaten by the Hayabusa. So everything is settled when you have a Gatot Kacha into your lineup. And the Grok is the main counter for the Gatot. It is banned right now. So I believe Crux Requiem are right now in a good position with their draft in the first picking phase. But into the second picking phase, we need to see what will happen. But before that, the Ishanshin will be taken out. But I am not sure why they went for that ban. Hayabusa is a counter to the Ishanshin. So no need to ban out the Ishanshin, I believe.
Yeah, the Ishanshin definitely with the counter coming up. But I think for now, Crux of Cream are just looking for the jungle bans, since Venom Esports haven't taken their jungler pick so far. I would say that Akimi is definitely will be the mid side. Like you said, gold could be Alapu, and also you did see that there's going to be a Roam Kalia, which I would say Kalia is like a hit or miss basically, but if you want to go for the pickoff, she's actually a very good pickoff hero. But other than that, Crux of Cream, like we said, they're targeting the jungle lane. Joy is out of the picture again, but if I'm going to be guessing on Venom next, I think this is going to be a 27 oriented ban.
Okay, 27 oriented ban, but the thing is, 27 can actually go for the ESMA. That's the main thing. He can actually go for it, but he banned it out.
Never mind.
And so do the Harith. Okay. Okay, that's a good ban though. Harith into the gold is actually Menace nowadays. He can actually give that true damage with the Stadium Sky. But here you go, he ran out the Harith, the Ranger comes in, Trinity, that is the Granger, Harriet, Iritel, so far into the season 35 or 34, if I'm not wrong. Right now, not get used so much, but we're gonna see the Granger, the poke burst, and this time the poke will be from Granger burst. There will be no Forza, but there will be that Eve into the mid lane section. And now the 2 picks coming in. I believe the jungler Hayabusa is already picked up. Okay, utility Queenie. Not expecting it. I was expecting a Bakshia, which was banned. I was expecting a Fedrin or a Xbog or maybe the Lucas, but they went for this Queenie. That also good because you do have the heal with the Kalea and the utility gonna works good, and you do have the special migration to actually give some fast rotation into the map. The last pick, what it could be, a gold. Okay, I told you, like Lapu Lapu is a flex. He's going into the gold. Obvious into the EXP, but talking about the burst from the side of Venom Esports, it's so low. It's just the magic penetration from the Kimi. Other than that, they don't have anything. But still, I'm sus about those 2 last bans from the side of team Crux Requiem. The Joy and the Ishan Shin. Both can be countered by the Haya easily.
Yeah, this last 2 picks coming from Venom is actually a solid. It kind of complements this current mode of the match that is Broken Walls, where especially for Phobias, doesn't really have blink skill if you don't get the demonic marks on towards the enemy side. But this is actually a very good thing to pick up a Phobias or the Broken Walls, because you know the turtle side is also gonna have a back wall opening. But here we go. There is gonna be an EXP Edith. I haven't seen Edith in quite a while. I'm actually very intrigued and excited to see how this goes, especially from a guy like 27, known as the carrier of Crux Requiem.
27 with the edit. It's just a 27 thing, guys. And like, this is one of my favorite pick into the EXP. I don't know why people not prioritize it, but if you're gonna watch MPL Turkey, you're gonna see this edit picks a lot in those matches. And they really prioritize it into the gold event. Because we're right now into the fighter gold meta, and those so do into the EXP. And the burst is too high, you can actually burst out the Phobias. And against the Phobias, like your edit gonna work. And having the Phobias into their side, actually insurance against 27. They banned out the Esma, they got the Phobias into their hand. The 5x5 set is already set from both these sides. We're heading into the Land of Dawn soon for Mythic Showdown Season 2 1-on-1 Swiss stage bracket. Venom Esports going straight against Crux Requiem for their second win or maybe for their second defeat. Because Crux Requiem is looking so solid with their draft. So do the side of Venom Esports, having the Queenie into their side. A little bit spicy up with the edit from Crux Requiem. Let's see what will be happening. Is this pick-off combo gonna work for both the sides, or it will be Crux Requiem will be testing the victor?
Absolutely, Ash, with a perfect intro there, but it seems like we're going to be heading to the Land of Dawn, and I'm just going to pass it to Ash again because this is his moment to shine.
Thank you so much. Here we are, guys. Land of Dawn, the set of fire. And this primary set, we're going to see the Queenie and the Haya to start up the aggro. And for that, we're going to see the rotation coming out from the Kacha into the mid. I was expecting a rotation out of the jungle to actually level up himself, but no. He wants to secure that Kimi onto the mid. Because the Kimi will have the upper hand in the early phase against the Eve, of course. And so do the emblem coming in.
Yeah, this emblem is just prioritizing. We are having a Granger on the regular emblem session so far as... Oh, this is also a very interesting emblem, the Wilderness Blessing on the 27, because they have to rotate quick, knowing that Edith is kind of slow with the mobility. Plus, with the Broken Walls, it's going to complement her kit a lot. But if you're going to be looking at the other 2 members, the squishy members of Crux Requiem, they both pick the Purify, which is actually a counter to the Kalea. Unless the Purify is forced out, the Kalea would be nowhere near those squishies, where they would pick them off and eventually no damage to the side of Crux Requiem. But also, Kimi, it seems like going for the Weakness Finder pretty good in terms of slowing the people down, because Crux Requiem have gone for it a little bit. But, some pile driver section in the mid side.
Yeah, just a poke though, but the damage from the Kimi was too high with Katot Kacha minus to melt out that Kalea there. Cold Shadow connected. Need to go back with the help of the special migration. But talking about the emblem, I was expecting a Rupture Master Assassin onto the Haya. He was not into that. Kind of with the Season Hunter here. but it's fine. You don't want that damage output into the early phase. Might be playing for that mid to late slow game. But now the river spawn in. It's the time for the first neutral objective to spawn into the land of dawn. This is the time for Team Venom Esports to actually contest it out. But the Seeker have already mid right now. From the mid side, I mean, we're going to see the Hayabusa starting out that total dance. Okay, demonic charge comes up, but Ogishadow got used, but it will be Kelly. Goes in with the special migration, secure the turtle. Now the Valeric might come up, and it will be RA. Goes in there, secure the first blow to Shinny. In the meantime, we're going to see the Slayer of HP moment, and Ripper ripped out Trenchy here. And managed to goes back. Oh my goodness, Rhapsody! He was little bit inside the tier, got some damage from the structure, and now goes down with the help of the final blow from Executor.
Yeah, a turtle for 2 trade on both sides, I would guess, but I think this kind of level out their trading. The fact that 2 kills are being brought inside of Crux Requiem. We did see that Z1 here actually kind of lost the trade, trying to go for the final slashes on the bot side, but it's all good for Executors to start farming up. Knowing Executor is always like his comfort on the Granger, already knowing how he plays at the bot lane, just going for the outplay session. But it seems like a little bit of Lom Sanga tickle with the Quad Shadow, but nothing much going to be happening. 3 minutes into the game already. The turtle will be spawning in a matter of minutes now, but on the top side, nothing much happening so far.
I mean, Dakusena, you're gonna talk about Team AC Sports. They have a mixture into their side. Now I'm seeing the roster, and now we're gonna see the fight coming in, the skirmish. And there you go, Executor safe, finds a way into the Death Sonata. Final blow comes up, the engage is too high. Lomsonga goes in with a quick shot, with the Quad Shadow, Ogi Shadow kill. He finds a kill there. Executor safe falls down. In the meantime, we're gonna see the Valoricum comes up, but it will be a double from Lomsonga. Kelly falls down. Can it be a triple? At this point, the British fighter being used, but oh my goodness, inch of HP managed to goes back. Will be retaliating as well. We're going to see a lot of damage onto the Lapu. He goes into the back section, but will be taken up by Peekaboo Predator. My goodness. What a way to finish up the trade for themselves. Cruxikum right now high into the trade with a 5 lead into the micro. And this is the start for the second turtle.
Indeed. That mistake made by Reaper, going a bit too ham inside the tier 1, especially when the shield is still up. Kind of a little bit of mistake on the side of Venom Esports in terms of Crux Requiem. They do know how to handle this situation already, given the experience they have. But it seems like the turtle is going to be onto the side of Crux Requiem this time. But yeah, Lomsanga, I would say, will also be ready with the retribution here. But in terms of just going, it seems like Shin's going for something.
Beautifully does it out with the Quad Shadow, but now the Tsunami Slam comes up. In the meantime, we're going to see the Demonic Charge being there. Infernal Pursuit coming in. Ganbat will be the one securing the turtle there without a retribution. Lamsaga goes in. Ripper falls down. In the meantime, Executors, they join the fight. We'll be taking out the Kalea. RA falls down. In the meantime, Ganbat. Oh my goodness, double for Executors. What a way to give that rotation out there. Rhapsody comes up, finishes up the style. Again, the micro lead goes to the hand of Crux Requiem, though macro secured by the side of Venom.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of gold for the side of their gold laner from Crux Requiem Executor, picking up kills left to right. And as you see, the level ranking has also spiked up. As you can see, the members of Crux Requiem at the same time. Kaylee, but Kaylee, though, has been farming actually very good over the head of Lomsanga with an 1 lead, but yes, if already tied up again. Priority picks on Doom, already having the dominance, would stop some of the healers from going to way too ham. But the advantage of the dominance right now with the hybrid actually works so well with Gatotkacha. The fact that he can sustain out a lot in team fights with his passive. But on the bot side, though, a bit of tickle coming in from both of the teams. But so far, so good. It's just Doom or Are just giving a vision so far. But you see the priority pick first up from Peekaboo now. He's going to have the anti-heal session again, but maybe working for the, I think, maybe like a slow or maybe some sort of a damage.
Yep, and before that, we're going to see the corner coming into that Lapu-Lapu's lane. But he'll be fine at this point. Zizwan is playing. I thought like it is Yashu official, but no, it's Zizwan.
Yeah.
They got the substitution into their hand, Venom Esports, but let's see how it goes for them. But before that, we're going to see that zone. Okay, just a poke though. But third turtle. Okay. And in the meantime, we're going to see the Brother Spicer being used there. He's getting gone at RWM popped up, and my goodness, pick up a Predator will be carrying out that kill onto his hand in the last final blow time. But onto the turtle section, it might be the chance for Team Venom Esports to actually go for that turtle once again. Let's see what will be happening there. The pursuit coming in. Tsunami Slam happened. Chuenchi will be securing the turtle. Mega kill on to Kelly. Speakable Predator. Sliver of HP finds his way back, but now he comes in with a quick shadow. Wiggy shadow kill comes up there. He finds a kill, killing spree for Executor Zay. So good from the side of Crux Rickham at this point. 14-3 is the score. High into the goal lead. 4,270. And you want to talk about the macro. The last one got secured into the hand of Crocs.
Yeah, at the same time, they were able to walk away with 3 kills so far, but Array is in trouble here, the mid side of again. Array!
We got the tier though, but unfortunately, Doom will be doomed there. It was like, I mean, an overextension, but Roamer for a mid tier, I believe, a good trade.
It was actually a very good trade indeed, but Kaylee for now has to keep farming up, at least have to keep up with the levels. I did know that he has the level lead for a while, but you could see 11 onto 11. Still in the level lead, even though he don't have much kills on his hands right now. But Yuan still eating a lot of Rhapsody shots at the bot side here. I think this is going to be a tier 1 on the bot side again. And Lomsanga?
Oh, he missed out the shadow there, but he goes in with the Gogi shadow kill and will be finding out the kill onto the Lapu. Zizun falls down. He comes back. Valid equipment into the action. We're going to see the RWM coming in as well. A lot of skirmish been going there. He's still shooting out, but he will be fine. Rhapsody comes up. We check it out. Lamsanga. Kelly falls down. In the meantime, Trenchy onto Shinny. Pickabu goes down there. It is Canbot shutting him up. But there you go. The AOG comes up. Missing out. It's an engager. Not this engager. Executors A with a Rhapsody. Finds a kill onto Ripper there. He was about to go for the Inferno Pursuit, but the backline was already taken out. Whom you are about to disrupt, man.
Yeah, and then that fight is just gonna justify that Crux Recream are gonna have the gold lead, a huge gold lead actually. If you can see on the gold session here, it seems like that's gonna be Zuan that's gonna be clearing the bot side. But so far, the Lord is up, but Contest still not up because it seems like Crux are building up something. But Tsunami Slam?
Okay, the kidnap happened there with the balance requiem coming in there, but Macro falls down. RWM popping over from the follow-up, being there from Peekaboo Bridge. And Trenchy finds a kill onto Canbot. After all, it will be Kelly onto Trenchy as well. 1-for-1 redemption comes up, but Peekaboo goes in there with a burst. Shitty falls down. My goodness, look at the shots coming out from the hand of Executor Zay. Teaching a lot of damage onto the Venom Esports, but now it's time for the Lord. They don't have the jungler. Easy Lord, uncontested one for the side of Crux.
Indeed, indeed. Basically, it's a 1-2, so the perfect time to take the Lord, and this Lord, I think, gonna march on the top side. The way Crux are playing is basically objective-wise. As you see, they cleared out some of the tier 2s that they think they can take, so that the Lord can kind of make this, you know, crack onto the Holy Shield, as you see at the top side. At 27 is actually all the tier 1s still standing on the side of Crux Requiem. This just shows that they're dominating so far, but as you can see, the gold ranking, of course, is gonna go to the hands of Executor. Lomsanga not even close, but then again, item build so far, 2 of their tanky ones from Crux have finished the Radiant already, which could be a nuisance if they don't have it against a Kimi. But as you see, the Kimi doesn't have a penetration to kind of counter the Radiant just yet, but Executor going for a few pokes here could be an engage.
Macro secured into the mid. The expansion has been happened. Ghost Shadow used there. It got connected. He goes in with the Ubi Shadow kill. RWM following up as well. He comes back as well. Holy Blessings taken up from both these sides. Lot coming out of the top. Let's see the Tsunami Slam happen there. It will be the zone as well. He's getting halted. He will be using the ultimate. 27 goes back, but Philly with the help of the tier damage finds kill on the Trenchy there. Trenchy falls down. But you just have the 4 members with the lot coming in. I don't feel like they will be taking out the tiers here, but onto the top side, the individual falling down. But before that, we're going to see the zone coming in. Ubi Shadow comes up. Z1 falls down. Godlike for Executor Zay goes in. Shinny falls down. Unstoppable there. Valid coming in with the special migration. He comes back with a lot of damage being dished out. RA falls down in the meantime. 2 for 2 is the trade under the micro, but now the macro being secured. It will be a legendary onto Ripper. My goodness, settle it onto the 3-2. We'll have the lead again in this trade.
Oh, of course, Lom Sanga without a death so far, just proving himself he could go with the shadow kills here and gets the legendary for himself, a
Oh.
K Lee. This is looking really dire for Venom Esports. They've lost their top inhibitor, which is gonna pose a threat later on. But oh no, Lom Sanga finally picks up the BOD. That's gonna be even more damage to the side of Crux Requiem. But they have to play it really safe now because they can basically get caught off guard with a few quad shadow and a shadow kill onto the hands of Lobsanga here. But in terms of something, I think Array here, if he could set a very good AOG onto the next, I think, siege that is going to be coming like 30 seconds because their Crux Creators are waiting for the Lord right now. But as of Venom, it's looking really dire for them because if they overcommit, it could cost their game instantly. As you can see, the damage stack in here is already gonna go to the side of Cini here with 81k more than Array because of the beating that he's been getting.
Thinking one thing, like you don't have the Sky Piercer, and you're having the KD of 909. This man is
Yeah.
literally invincible, untouchable yet, and unkillable yet. But I mean, just think, what if he had a Sky Piercer? He might have the KD of 15-0 something. But now, the Lord, easy one coming out there, even though the zone being preferred from Sheeny, but it's not gonna work well. But he gonna get stopped down there and will be taken up as well. Executed Zay with the monster getting secured onto Sheeny before the Lord. This is so bad for the side of Team Venom Esports. They lost out their roamer. Oh my goodness, what the need of that spatial migration. He goes in. Godlike for Executor. The Sky Piercer is right up piercing out. Double secured onto Ripper. 3-man down. The jungler, the opener, the roamer. Everybody is done at this point, and it might be the mighty push coming in there. Minions being on, and it will be Kamba securing the skill onto Ramsanga. Zizun falls down. Legendary onto the head of Executor's Day. But the minion, the waves will be cleared out, so it might be a chance that they can actually go for the deflection. There you go. A zone comes up. Tsunami's time being grabbed up there. RWM popping as well. Lord coming into the Nexus. It will be the legendary onto Shinny, and they will be locking out the base. But no, they're actually having the last onto the blood. They might not take out, but before that, the Lord will be finished up his job, and it will be Team Crux Requiem finds the win, and will be settling themselves into the 2-1 bracket.
The experience gap is just immaculate already. The fact that Lom Sanga completely sweeps the entirety of Venom Esports single-handedly, I would kind of say. But if you don't get the kills, there's always a guy that is named Executor to get them off with the Sky Piercer. And like you said, Ash, he didn't actually go for the Sky Piercer because I think he thought out for Executor, because Executor, a Granger, is definitely going to pick that, Sky Piercer, right? So it's just giving securing kills. And as you can see, Lobsang is not the MVP. Instead, it's gonna be Executor onto his comfort here and full build already.
Obviously, I mean, that KD 12-1-9, and he secured the MVP. Look at that Sky Piercer stack as well. It might be the 80 stack onto the Sky Piercer. Crux Requiem played so well. The game start is here. Equality.
Absolutely, the stacks are over the top. Look at the score difference. And then I would like to look a little bit close on 27th build here. Went with the Starlium side a little bit later because he kind of won not the damage on the early game. Instead, they won the sustain on the early game because of the amount of rotation they're going to be doing on the turtle. And then maybe in I would say like in the 9 minutes of the game, I think Edith or 27 is going to go for the Starlium side, which after he unlocks the full wrath of the passive, is going to deal a lot of damage. As you can see, he also go for the Swift. This kind of complements his attack speed on how much damage he's going to be doing, and it kind of works out well. But other than that, if you're going to be speaking on Array's side, pure Unbreakables coming in. I think the Guinevere also get denied a lot when the Unbreakable comes, when you go for the spatial migration. So I think a keen eye for Doom.
Course, and if you're gonna talk about, I mean, they do have 3 contenders who could have gone for the Sky Piercer, Hayabusa, Kimi as well, Peekaboo. I mean, not the Kimi from the side of Venom though, sorry. It was Eve. Eve can also go for that Sky Piercer, but it's fine. Executor Zay was the one who, I mean, accumulated, and so do he give that beautiful result as well. Now the head-to-head is here, and we're gonna see that Z1 versus Executor. I'm not gonna say anything. This is not head-to-head. This is head-to-toe. It is
Yeah.
0-4 with 12-19, so it is head to toe, guys. This is not head to head. But after this, it is like the sandbag. I feel Kelly is the sandbag in this game for Venom Esports. But I don't think you're gonna get it. But let's see. In the end, we're gonna get the result. But look at that.
Yeah.
Lamtanga with the Hayabusa finds really well into the team fight participation, so too into the objective section. But even though the objectives were not taken by any of the jungler, the first one has been taken by the Reaper, second one being there onto the side of our Canbot, third one being taken by Trenchy. So it's like Hayabusa and Guini doesn't find any turtles into their hand, but the Lord was secured by them. Now head to head on the Roamer, there's obviously Doom, 79.233%. What a way, guys. And with this is Crux Requiem, guys, giving that 100% output into the game, taking out Venom Esports and settling them into the latter stage of the switch and going into the good part of the switch test. There is a 2-1 and Sandbag. Okay, I was
Yeah,
expecting
Shinny.
but it will be Shinny.
Yeah, we did see that the sandbag factor is definitely gonna come to Shitty because as you can see on the, I think, damage taken rankings, he was way far ahead of any others. He was always out there taking a lot of damage because he has to be the one that goes in to make the sets. But unfortunately, Kalea, even with the fleeting time right now, you know how Peekaboo, you know how Executor picks up that Purify. That's why they couldn't even pick anybody off at this point. And on par with Crux Requiem lead onto the leaderboards, on the gold section, on the macro, everything. It's too late for Venom Esports to think about a comeback because I don't think Crux Requiem are gonna, waste any efforts on even drawing the game at that point. Instead, they get the win, and this is the outcome so far.
Yep, and I was thinking like Winnie was more vulnerable to the team fights. He was actually giving those hits as well, but it's okay. The damage taken has been done by so well by the side of Shinny. It's fine. Venom Esports, you played well. Just have some bad into the draft. I believe you'll be rectifying your mistake, coming back stronger. And from the side of Crux Requiem, what a play it was. I mean, having 3 squishy members in this fighter gold meta, you're taking out the Granger. In this fighter gold meta, you're having a Eve, a Hayabusa, and you're performing so well. This is what we call synergy looks like. And the synergy was so good. And from the early phase, this is what happening in the Mythic Showdown. This is what happening everywhere. In this recent patch, if you're having the early game for your side, even though it is micro, even though it is macro, whatever, you're taking out the mid tier or you're taking out 3 kills rather than taking out the mid tier, you're actually prioritizing the early game for your side. You're actually winning the game. We're not seeing that much comeback, that much, you're going to say that retaliation from the other side if they're losing out the early phase. So I believe Venom Esports might be taking out this mistake seriously. We're coming back stronger. Congratulations, Crux Requiem, for winning the game and going into the 2-1 bracket. I believe you guys will be shining as well in the Mythic Showdown Season 2. And with this, me, STZ, and Bolty will be taking our leave. This is our time to sign up for Mythic Showdown Season 2. And next match will be there. So you guys stay tuned with us. 3 more games about to come. Newcasters will be joining you as well to entertain you all. So stay hydrated. Open up your chips packet. And don't forget to follow us in our Instagram, social, YouTube, everywhere to get the information about Mythic Showdown Season 2. Subscribe our channel, like the stream, comment in the stream who's going to take on the next game and whom you are supporting in the Mythic Showdown Season 2. And there is a huge diamond giveaway going in, 1 lakh diamond giveaway. So be there and be a part of the giveaway. And I hope you're going to win some diamonds as well. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Love you all.
Do you think I'm crazy? I'm Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to the Mythic Showdown Season 2. Once again, we are here to just, take the game forward. It's going to be a very important game. And, Debbie, do you think they're disappointed that they cannot see our faces?
I hope they are, because most of the time we are so used to the camera, right? And even I am used to casting on the camera, right? So, oh man, it's gonna be a little less fun. But I think it's not as they should be focusing on, because the teams we have today are two of the most important teams that we have so far into the Mythic Showdown. So I hope they are focusing on that. So we talked about the teams, right? But I forgot to say the name. It is actually S8 UL going against Johan.
Yep, and I think for SHUL, their reputation already precedes them. We do not need to give them a grand welcome or grand, introductions, isn't it? For Zohan, they're also a, powerhouse in themselves, the Mr. Powerhouse that we talk about. The new addition of the members, I think they have been performing really well, given the fact that Ilu as well as Berserk, them has fit in so well, right? Their roster.
That's a new roster that we're talking about for Johan, but for SHUL, they are actually still the same. Nothing of a change up, so I think it's gonna be a little bit of down to the synergy, because I have a little bit of a complaint about Johan, to be honest, because we haven't seen them lacking in synergy for so long, and now in this tournament in particular, they haven't been, able to pull out the classic Mizo synergy, and I don't think they were there yet. So I feel like they can improve here into that part in this tournament, into this game especially. But on the other hand though, I think SHUL, I think they have it all going, but the fact that they are here in a 1-1 bracket means that they lost to Sacred Shrine, right? It's one of the bigger team here, so I hope they are still very ready. They have the synergy, they have the hero pool, so it's gonna be one heck of an exciting matchup.
Absolutely. And talking about matchups, feel about EU going up against, like, Apex is one of those players that have been the pinnacle of the roamer in India, right? Far and wide for India, and for Ilu, like, he's still, I think, there. But do you think he's that level that he can actually Apex in roaming, or in at least go toe to toe at least, in fact?
Are you doing this on purpose, Sunu?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. If we talk about micro decisions, Apex can be up to the top. But if we talked about the the understanding of own team, I think it's gonna be into the hands of Ilu. That used to be my roamer, by the way. Then Sunu, I hate you for that. But of course, I was always going for the blood type, right? It's not that deep. But nevertheless, let's head into the drafting phase, because Sunu has been bullying me and I don't like it.
Okay. I mean, fair enough, right? But the thing is, this is gonna be a best of one, isn't it? It's not a best of three, the typical one. We are in the 1-1 bracket. The teams winning from here will be heading towards the 2-1 bracket, and the losers will have to go to the 1-2 bracket, where they will meet team, I think it is Dakusena, Yama, and currently I think one more team just went there. It was Venom, right? Venom went there. So these teams are already winning there. So I think the way from here should be top, because losing here and then again going to the bottom bracket means that if you lose one more time, you'll be eliminated. And since this is the best of one, which we have already talked about, the draft is going to be very, very crucial. It's going to be the most important factor in this game, and banning the right heroes, it starts from there.
Something that's new for the roster coming through from Johan is kind of changing out the bans that the opponent usually does. Because Dusty right now will not be into the jungle anymore. He's going to be playing into the XP, right? So that means that Blade is the jungle here. And when you talked about Blade, the Fanny has to go. And SHUL, I think they really understand who they are up against. They want to ban out this hero, which is the Fanny, onto the first phase. And then onto the other side though, Hayabusa taken away. So these two assassins is important for both of these jungle right now, because I'm actually comparing to this jungle first hand, because we see a lot of jungle ban and of course the roam ban coming through. To be honest, Apex has been performing so well onto the Grok. I think Grok is his type of hero, right? The aggression, the very I feel like the all over active hero is fitting into his hands. So Johan, a very good ban coming through from them though.
I do agree because, for Apex, most of his career he has been playing that Grok even before it has gotten that the rework or the revamp, whatever you call it. But even before that, he has been at the top global for Grok, and for good reason,
Yep.
because aggression, because of the way he can exert the pressure into the map. But hey, I think picking up the Kimi is a very good option for SA2L because this hero have been performing out of the mind. With 4 tanky frontliner, it's impossible for anyone to catch this hero. The assassin lineup that we have looked at, and for this game, they were actually going for the YSS along with the Lapu Lapu.
I
Enough
saw
though, but-
this coming. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this coming a mile away, to be honest. It's like
Okay.
even Blade is like this, man. If it's revealing or not, I don't know. But honestly speaking, he loves playing the Yi Sun Sin, even though there are chances for the opponent's side to come through with the Dragon, the Lancelot, like it's already here. And he kind of is very comfortable on this hero, so very understandable that they have to go for the first pick onto the Yi Sun Sin. I don't really like it, to be honest. But the Eve though, for you against the Lancelot, huh? So that's a very, very risky pick, Sunil.
I do agree because you can see even an Esmeralda onto the other side. So picking up the shield hero, especially one that cannot really move around so quickly, does not have a dash or a blink skill, I think it's gonna be very difficult for you to actually just play around with this hero. But in terms of range, it does cover up a lot. It can even give out that damage overall into the team fights. But again, very position dependent, and I can see what Zohan are trying to do. They're just trying to play inside that head box or in that range of theirs where Duel will be forced to make those mistakes. But like you mentioned, the Lancelot is it's gonna be easy for him to just go and mark the Eve, right? The dashes that he has, and with the damage that he can actually build up, even with the hybrid build, I think the Lancelot dish out a lot of damage. But talking about damage dealer, there are enough, but the Roamer are not so far, and it gets getting banned more and more in this game.
Minotaur.
Yeah,
I think
Minotaur
this is
and
very
Hilda.
understandable then. Okay. Sure. I think as HUL they could have been having a good time with the Minotaur here. Zohan, very understandable that they have to remove. But the fact that Apex have a lot of heroes, into his hero pool, I think that's where he signs a lot. So
Oh, nice.
he cannot really ban up. But Yuzong ban, very predictable, that one. Yeah. What I
Yeah.
think, Shinryu, is this gonna be a flex Lapu or is it directly into the hands of Dusty Mizo?
I think it can be flex because Prime does like to play the R-Lot too, and he has been really performing well, right? Not Prime, Dusty Mizo, my bad.
Okay,
Mizo,
yeah,
actually.
there we go.
Yeah, my bad. So Dusty Mizo has been really good with those setting up. It's not always Ilu who is actually, instigating those team fight or giving that the team. So in a way, I think they can still flex it around, but at this point, I think it's better for them to go for the Roamer. And about the Roamer, what option do you actually speak for?
What is gonna be good here? There's a lot of options. Khalid can
Hylos.
come through.
Okay.
The Hylos. Safer. So they can play the... I feel like they can play the Marksman here into the hands of Prime. Honestly speaking, I hit this guy onto the fighters. He's a carry, right? He's a damage dealer. He's a carry hero player.
It's like similar to how putting those fighters onto a Stoby, right? And these people, they're so good on the marksman.
Toby.
Isn't it? Yep.
Oh man, Khalid was okay. It's actually into the hands of SHUL instead of Johan. I
now-
mentioned the Khalid for Johan because of the broken walls. Okay, there we go.
What?
Oh my goodness, thank you, bro. But
But against the Esmeralda?
yeah, against
Yeah,
Esmeralda. Okay. This is interesting. But something I like about this draft from Johan is that the Eve is definitely going to be able to pop off against the Uranus, right? But then there are three dives from SHUL. Esmeralda is always going to be onto Eve, onto for you all the time. And there's going to be Jay onto this Lancelot as well. And now doubling that dive with the Aladdin. I mean Khalid, Mr. Apex.
Yes,
How
the
is
Aladdin.
he gonna figure out?
Yep. I mean, if you talk about the early game pressure, it's definitely going to be on the side of team Zohan. They will be threatened by the presence of both Khalid as well as Lancelot, and even the Kimi in the early game can dish out a lot well. But for Zohan, they're going for the double slowdown, and that where they want to fight around, right, with their heavy team fight based lineup. But in a way, I feel they're really relying on towards Blade as well as Prime to get this healing, because without them, it's going to be difficult. But again, the Lapu Lapu in the early game too can dish out the damage. But against an Esmeralda, against a Uranus, I don't think so. The damage will be enough though.
It can be, because the late game is where Johan wanna play. They have an answer for the Elise, no, for the Kimi already. I feel like, this is gonna be a little bit slower for Johan. As actual, they wanna play the early aggression, and Johan, they wanna drop the game.
Definitely, we'll see. I think it's just more of that, what we talked about, the front line for that Kimi for the side of Team SATUL. But again, we'll see, ladies and gentlemen, as we head into the Land of Dawn for this game number 2, match number 2 of the day in the 1-1 bracket. Both the teams are ready to take this on. The winners will be heading to the 2-1 bracket, and the loser will fall to the next one. But again, the early game rotations will be very important. But I think both the teams will be okay. Players already want to play aggressive with Anti going in for the purple buff steal, but hey, Blade will be able to secure it with the help of the Retribution, but they have enough front line to just dismay the aggression the side of Team SATUL will be putting. But so far, early wave that we're looking at already from Epic.
That was a good read coming through from Ilu, I understand, because they were able to chase away all of those possibilities from SHL to try to stay under the purple buff. But quick tag onto the emblems, killing spree for Mr. Blade here onto the Yichun team, trying to go for a little bit of an aggression into the team fights. Apex doesn't have the figure, might be in trouble.
He might be in trouble. I mean, they're not going to pursue, I think, in the early game because they do not have enough damage to punish them, right?
Not really. That's why it's important that you want to max out the rotation coming through for the Khalid here. But Apex might be having a very, very great time here. On the other hand, NT doesn't really care, man. He's just gonna be blocking out onto the waves and not letting the Steamizo out of the lane. And I was, a little bit sure that it wasn't gonna be into the hands of Radium, the Uranus, I mean. But this is gonna be changing out the momentum of the early game, because NT right now is into the Uranus, and this is definitely amazing that ABM, not SHUL, they will be able to have that early game because of the picks that they have right now. The draft, man, the draft really matter for the side of SHUL here. They will be able to start into the turtle. Johan shouldn't contest because there is a fact that the Yisun needs the first turtle, right? But with this kind of chunky lineup, you cannot really do that. Even Dusty Mizo onto this Lapu Lapu will not be able to go in because this is the start of the aggression for SHUL. Late game is what Johan want to play for.
Yeah, I think the scaling would be the best route for Team Zohan to actually go for, because if they try to just push their luck in the early game, it's going to be a problem. But Apex might be in problem. Okay. Pops up the flicker right still, but hey, that's another resource being burned up, so he needs to be careful for the next fight. But I think at least for the first 5 minutes of the game, I don't think we are looking at too much aggression from Zohan. Like you mentioned, they will be scaling, right?
They want to scale a very expensive picks as well. But honestly speaking, oh, look at that!
Oh, the Raging Sandstorm saving Apex this time, but again they want to go in with the Phantom Execution as well, and Radium wants to go for the chase, cannot really find that, the stun there, and Ilu there as well. Prime trying to dish out the damage, and the first blood will be drawn out by 4U. That's the first point on the scoreboard.
That's definitely a good place coming through onto the gold laner, nonetheless, even though it is a tanky utility onto the hands of Radium, but still gonna be okay. But now, even though they lose onto the member, SHUL still have a spacing to play with because of their pick. I cannot stretch this far enough, but the Khalid and the Kami altogether is always definitely going to be having a good objective wins in comparison to the Hylos and Eve. First item priority for Asuna will be the Sky Piercer, very definite choice here. He's gonna be the sole damage dealer in comparison to Johan, who have a scaling Raging Sandstorm being used for defensive maneuver. Look at that.
The Brave Spider there, but I think so they can convert so easily until and unless SDUL just oversteps their bound. And so far that just happened once, and they got punished for real.
That was actually, I feel like, as HUL, they want to play aggressive, right? Because they have a lineup that is made for aggression since the early of the game. And Johan understand this very well. They don't want to go for that kind of aggression. They need to step back just a little bit because they are not actually behind, but they might want to contest on this turtle. Look at that.
Oh, again, the RWM will drop down. Zohan are forced to go back. But still, they want to fight. Apex is low on HP, but still trying to survive that. Again, on the back line, Apex will be falling in the hands of Dusty Mizzo, but they're still going for more. Mrs. Low himself, but still able to sustain. Oh my goodness. Survives that, and still, ACDUL didn't want to punish here. Elu will be overstepping his boundaries and will be punished. Rash Pulse Connect. Elu, 4E will be brought back, taken down. Double for Asuna.
2 stacks for the Sky Pacer from Mr. Asuna onto this Kimmy. Definitely well done. Well cooked, I mean. But that was SHUL trying to perform so well onto the hero that they really are comfortable on. And that is definitely going to be a good start for right now. NT with the Dominance Eyes will not be dying anytime soon with the hybrid that he have. And Sky Pacer 2 stacks already for Asuna. So they can go for the aggression. But for you though, he got the NT heal. Meanwhile, for the War X is going to be the first before Dusty Mizo. That's going to be a little bit of an engagement tool that you want to go for. Gold ranking still into the hands of Radium onto this Esmeralda, followed up by Asuna, of course, and it's all actually SHUL. So this is going to be very dire. They want to play it safe. They need to farm for Prime, but the thing is, they have another Yishun Xin, another scaling hero onto the jungle. So it's into the hands of Ailu to try to protect both of these backliners, and it's gonna be a lot on his plate. One turret down to the bottom lane. SHUL, they are still ahead onto the goal.
Yep, and so far I think they are playing for the objective. They're not really just forcing those fights that they saw that they cannot really punish or they cannot really force their way in. And afterwards, I think pushing down the bot lane tier 1 was the best choice. But again, top lane 1v1, Prime is really low on HP.
Oh!
Impossible for him to get out of that, but one more turret falls. That is another tier 1 being taken down. At this point, Zohan, they are on the defensive, but Blade can finally push one turret until and unless Apex comes and just makes him force back. But I think he will be able to do it easily. But can he find an escape? Because at the same time, you can see Jay will be taking down the turtle, but the Traceless will be used perfectly to time it out. But can he find an escape 1v1 once again? But Radium is finally trying to chase him down with the Starfall. Will go in and find that kill. That's jungle in town. Blade, no more on the map. RWM will be dropped down, but it will be instantly cancelled out because the rest of the team from SATUL will be back in the map. And team Zohan, they need to just play defensively. Anti is very far ahead, and he will be able to survive the Prime with the Summon Force, but he will not get the damage necessary to take anybody down. But with this, both the teams go for the retreat.
That's 2 turrets down for the side of Zohan, and it's going to be 1 down yet again as HUL with the discipline able to start up the team fights most of the time. And the rotation coming through from Radium was perfectly on point. This is the synergy I was talking about that Zohan failed to have. Dusty might be in trouble.
Yeah, this time, again, forced to use the Bravest Spider defensively. But you see one thing, right? The Esmeralda, even though it fell in the early game, but it's working perfectly fine, right? From Radium, he's able to exert the pressure. He's able to go for those, defensive maneuvers where the side of Team Zohan is forced to respond back with something and using their resources. And because of which, they're losing sight of the most important thing. But again, Dusty Mizzo is in trouble. He uses the Bravest Spider to clear out the wave. But he's able to just buy enough time for his team to just be there. But they cannot punish the members of SATUL, who already has a stunning 4.7k goal lead.
Yep, that's definitely going to be a good goal lead that they have right now. It's going to be very dire for Johan to try to play it safe. But how can they play it safe when there's SHUL always diving into the back lines, always going in, trying to engage team fights and winning out without any compensation? That is something that they want to do with this kind of picks that they have right now. Looking at the goal difference so far, it's all into the hands of SHUL. Everyone is so farmed up to go for the goal. Blade! Oh my goodness, taken down easily. Jay with the landslot, that is something that they not want to go for.
Prime might be in trouble, but able to get back. The traction pulse does connect, and ACDUL, they do not force it out. You can see, right? They are aggressive, but they're aggressive for the good reason. They get one trade, then they go back. They just farm again and take down the objectives. That's what they're doing.
It's funnily enough, the movement speeds coming through from SHUL is definitely something that they have advantage of. There is an Aladdin, right? There is Apex onto the Khalid. There is Asuna, who can fly in and out, and there is also Radiant with the sprint too. So whenever there is an good engage or a good compensation that Johan tries to look for, they always reach on time. That is the definite source of the winning team fight that SHUL have right now. Radium with the Talisman and the Oracle will be able to have a good advantage with the mana regeneration and the seal as well. Top lane though.
They want to take one more fight this time, though. SWL, they want to go more deep, but
Eh?
the alternate defense, though, is going to be saving them, even the glorious pathway. I was just thinking that they might just go in very deep, but they are still playing a discipline. That's the best thing to do, but with more waves coming down, you can already see Jeho going in. Still, he will not find that kill or the damage necessary, but at the same time, the side of Team Zohan, they need to defend this Lord, which is coming down. The Holy Defense will all of them prop down with this push. Yes, it will, but will Team Zohan be able to defend this one? I think they can, but hold on to the inhibitors is still a question, because side of Team SWL, they're not really backing out. They're still trying to push more, but the waves will be cleared out with the help of For You and the damage from Prime, but there are more waves crashing in, and with this, JHO is going in with the rest of the troop of SWL. The RWM will be popped in, but the glorious path is slowing them down as well at the same time, so SWL, they're on the run, but right now it's utter chaos. Oh my goodness, but this will call them just go back out because Team Zohan, they know they should not force this more because they might lose their inhibitors.
That was amazingly well done by Dusty Muzo into the previous fight. They're able to chunk out those minions when there was a dive coming through from SHUL. But there was just one member down. Asuna is not the shutdown kill. He's 2 kill ahead, but apparently he hasn't gotten the killing spree, so that's not a bounty just yet. But the blue buff will be gone yet again from the hands of Blade. This dude is not really having a good time because, yeah, that's something you really don't have when you are onto a decent scene and very very behind onto the goal and the levels too. So level damage taken onto the side of SHL has to be in NT. Yeah, that guy cannot die anymore. This is the problem with the Uranus here, who is ahead, who have the snowball rolling onto him too. And now this time around, I don't think there is anyone from the side of Johan that can melt him down. The only factor has to be Prime onto the Harriet, and he's got to need the penetration too, and he's still not onto the Poly Crystal just yet. He's very behind onto the goal. That's something you do not really want to see onto a Harriet. But if they are able to drag this game for a long time, they will be able to reach that pass. But the thing is, Shinryu, SHUL, they are not making any mistakes. That's the problem. Johan, sometimes they got to need the opponent to make the mistake for the winning condition, and SHL, they are not doing any of that.
Yeah, I mean, this game is very objective focused, right? They are playing for, the objectives much more than the kills, which is being shown on the board as well, right? 5-4 is the score. It's very low kill pressure on the map, but it's enough for the side of Team SHUL to win out those objectives. But there are some times when they're overstepping their, and they are getting punished for that. But at the same time, I think it's not so much of a disadvantage that they are putting themselves into, because they are having the goal lead completely in their side. And I think at this point, if they make a very major mistake, like you mentioned, anti taken down, or even not falling, I think that's where the main issues will be starting for the side of Team SHL, because Zohan, they are really playing it slow. They're just waiting for the scaling, but so far, it's a long way from what they need. Point.
At one point of a time when the opponents are playing very slow and very behind, it just gets annoying, right? And you just want to go for the dive. And SHL, they are not doing any of that. They know, Jeho trying to go in. That's a lot of damage onto the Thorn Rose For You. Almost dead. Another puncture would have done it, right? But hey, look at the engage though.
Once again, the glorious path be used defensively. So is the Zaman Force. They're going under the base. The Lord will take down the top bot inhibitor. The mid one falls as well. And with this, Team SHL, they want to push their lead. They want to end this game, but they're really pushing down Blade onto us. Just reasoning back his HP. The Lord is not cleared. Out of Team Zohan, they're still trying to go for more. The RWM will be dropped down. And with this team, SHL, they're still trying to push more, but they're not really getting the hit onto the base. They're just trying to lower the HP down, chip the HP down from the members of Team Zohan. Same time, they are not really getting anything done in the base. They're just buying more time for them to clear the waves out. But will it be enough for them to end this game here, Zebi?
I don't really think so because there might be another engage coming. Dusty Mizo trying to go in. That's gonna be the Raising Sandstorm to the back. Rising Vex might be getting caught. Yeah, the Immortality might be take him down. Blade with a kill. Asuna with another stack onto Dusty Mizo right now. NT might be in trouble yet again, but that's a lot of damage coming through from Asuna right now. All of the inhibitors gone for the side of Johan. They need to defend this, but good discipline coming through from SHUL. They backed away.
Yeah, they backed away, and that's the best thing because if they just, like we mentioned, if they just try to overstep their bounds, they will be getting punished. And currently, the goal lead is almost of 10k, and if they really just give them the lead for Zohan, they can easily come back because they just need a few more items before, after which they can easily even burst down the tankier members because most importantly, the damage needs to be on towards for you and Prime and even Blade, but I think most of them are close by to completing their build.
And this battle for Mr. Blade onto the Yi Shinshin, I think he really wanna go for a little bit of a true damage onto the side because of course looking at the chunky members, right? The Thunderbelt onto the hands of Radium. Wow, that's something I don't usually see, Mr. Radium. That's new onto the table. I hope he got a lot of stack onto that because that's gonna be a lot of defense and a lot of damage onto the basic attacks too. But yeah, he wanted to chunk down all of those the tankiness coming through from SHUL. I don't think it's still going to be enough. They're going to be still needing a little bit of a time. 9k goal is what they have, and this is going to be another 2k Lord advantage, 2k goal advantage from the Lord that SHUL will be bringing here. No inhibitors left, Simio. And if this Lord comes in, it's not still evolved, but it's still going to be an endable one.
Yeah, because they do have the wave clear, but they have to use all their abilities, all their skills, all their resources into doing that. And at this point, I think it might be too much of a hefty price to actually go against with because of the damage the side of Team SCD can deal. Last time, they were lucky that the turrets were there, the inhibitors were there, but this time they won't be having that luxury anymore. As you can see, Jay already starting to deal the damage to Dusty Miso, who is on a Lapu Lapu tanky member.
Yeah.
Lord coming crashing down. I think we might look to an end.
That might be possible end coming through. There's a mod for still available for grabs. Dusty onto the base, droning away everyone from the table right now. It's gonna be the Zaman Force being popped upon as well. The sun coming through. There's gonna be Apex in trouble, taken down. He will be the one, the first to remove. The lore is cleared out, but NT and Radium trying to go in for more. 1 million is still available. They are able to clear it out. Johan still clearing it away. Dusty trying to go in. He might be getting chunked down. The flicker and the stun not connecting, but that is a successful defense coming through from as well for you right now. Might be in trouble. He's gonna be taken down with the Starfall, but it's gonna be another engage coming through. The voice probably will be popped as well. J-Ho trying to go in. Prime taking very low. It is away, but the base is completely wide open. Will they be able to focus on that? The base is running away. J-Ho taken down. Will they be able to end this? Yes, that is SHUL winning the game against Zohan.
Oh my goodness, yeah. They were like so focused on the kills here, but eventually they were able to push the base too, but could have been a potential comeback that we could have seen from the side of Team Zohan, but it was not nearly enough. They could not clear the minion waves in time, because of which they lost their base crystal. The Nexus was completely wide open, like you mentioned, without the inhibitors. Impossible for them to do much, and because of which they were able to win this game. But imagine getting the player of the match with a KD of 0-3-3. Man, oh man.
What? 0-0. Okay. It's a funny story that we saw, right? There wasn't a lot of kills in this game because for SHUL, they want to go aggressive since the start. And Johan were like, nah, man, we're not falling into a trap. But hey, how will you, even if you are not taking any kind of risk, you are gonna be in that race of losing too. And I feel like, it would have been better if Johan were going for the risk on, attacking one member at a time and trying to go for a one person, right? If they had engaged on one person, even if it is one tanky member, I feel like they could have found more success than going all in. Sometimes you gotta stay chaotic, and Johan was known as a chaotic squad, right? But that chaos is not being seen here. And SHUL Esports, they were so good onto the discipline. They know that they were made for going in and going for the aggression, but the opponent were not playing going into their into their cards. But then again, they were like, yeah, no man, we're gonna slow it down, we're gonna farm that, we're not gonna be giving you any farm as well, and we're just gonna overwhelm you with gold lead and tankiness, and that's what they did here.
I think they really went for a very late game draft for the side of Zohan, which kind of them to a point where if they were on the losing end, if they were not in of the gold, that kind of backfired them, and to the point that they cannot really get back the lead towards themselves. And even if they got the farm in the later half of the game, it was already too late, because too well they had a massive lead onto their side. They had that luxury of the goal, and more so they had the luxury of the frontliners available, right? There were a lot of people who can soak the damage, that can actually just give the chance for Jay, Asuna easily to deal the damage, and that's what. And even for Esmeralda, can deal damage over time, right? It's not a damage that we're talking about, but the damage is definitely there, and you could see like he was not even afraid going under the Nexus to take down 4U in the last team fight, meaning that he is there menacingly, just harassing the members onto the backline, because one, you're putting 3 shield hero against the Esmeralda, completely disrespecting the fact that she can actually perform well against her, but at the same time you're fighting against the Esmeralda who's already fed. So how do you go against that?
A fat Esmeralda is scary, man. A fat Radium is scary. But I honestly speaking to I think it's safe to say they might hunt for my head, but Johan went for an ego draft, don't you think? Because Blade, man. Of course you're comfortable onto the Yixun Shen, of course, but why would you go for the Yixun Shen when there's always a threat for the Lancelot? The Lancelot could have been a viable option rather than the Yixun Shen, and I don't think he really did a good job there too, because he wasn't given space. Red Sky, of course, has to be J-Ho onto the Lancelot. 769 gold per minute, something that we are accustomed to onto this gold lane side, not the jungle side. Very well done. I think the damage coming through from 4U was already so good, right? He was having the damage on point. He had the spacing too, but the follow-up that they wanted to go for, right? The Eve Herrick combination that they wanted to go for couldn't happen, because they also have a squishy backline onto the jungle, and who's very weak onto the farm too. He's already so poor. Yeah, that's what. So maybe get away from the ego draft and try to go for a little bit of a balanced one.
True. I think, like you mentioned, even while in the drafting stage or while the game started, it was too much on the plate for Elu to stop for his team, right? Too much to protect, too much to actually peel, right, for his team. And in such a situation with a high loss, the best you can do is use the Glorious Pathway to slow down the member, or just use the law or order punishment there, right? But it's not going to be enough slowdown to actually stop members stop heroes like the Lancelot, stop heroes like the Esmeralda, who can really rush back to backline. And I think, like you mentioned, ego drafting was the problem this time around. But again, this will be a best of 1, so that's SATUL winning this game around and moving to the 2-1 bracket for the side of team Zohan. They unfortunately have to go down to the 1-2 bracket. Just one more loss and they will be eliminated from the tournament. Really a risky place to be in, isn't it? So with this, wait, it's 2-1 bracket or 2-2 bracket? 2-1 bracket, my bad. It's 2-1 bracket, and with this we'll be taking a short break for the next games to be prepared. But Debbie, is there any final message that you want to give out to anyone out there about this game?
I think they're gonna hunt my head if I speak more. Honestly, yeah. I think as HUL, they played the cards really right. The theory was on point, the strategy was on point. There was no plan A, plan B. They directly went for the plan A, and Johan, they let down into the response. I feel like they can play better than this. I know that they can do better than this too. So well done for SHUL, and try more for Johan.
Yep. And thank you for the message, Debbie, of course. But with this, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a short break and we'll be back in a jiffy. So do stay tuned. We'll be seeing you on the other side with the next games, of course, coming right at the Mythic Showdown Season 2. Well, once again, we are back into the Caster Tech one with Debbie, of course, and I'm just gonna be a ad for this one because Debbie is the main character for this game again. I'm just kidding, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mythic Showdown Season 2. Once again, you're watching the 1-1 bracket, and we are back with another set of teams. It's gonna be Noctura versus Eternal Torment, if I'm not mistaken, right, Debbie? Just correct me if I'm wrong. You're right.
It is right. You're right. That's the perfect way, man. Noctura. This is going to be the decider, another best of run series that we are having right now. And it's going to be deciding whether the other team will be having a greater time and able to move into the next round, the better bracket rather than the worst bracket. But hey, it's going to be a very, very good one because Eternal Torment, Simio versus Noctura, they are equally skilled.
Yeah, I mean, last time Noctura, they meet, I think it was RNTX, Revenant Spark, where they lost in the 1-0 bracket. They were in the upper bracket as well, but they lost out there. And I think Eternal Torment, I don't remember which team did they lose against, though. I think it might be Peak, if my memory serves me right.
Yellowstone.
Yeah. So Yellowstone, actually. So with that, I think coming down to here, both the teams would have one motivation or one objective that do not go to the 1-2 bracket, because that is the death bracket. From there, it is just going to be very hectic games. It's like very on the verge. Even if you win in the 1-2 bracket, you're going to be in the 2-2 bracket. From there, it's like even still same. Like you're getting eliminated much faster than the other teams. So I think qualifying into the upper bracket is going to be very important. But again, Sharmaji Ka Beta just told me that I'm not hyping enough. So this time I'll just try to hype everyone. Best of my capabilities, of my abilities, of course. So let's see if we can actually, bring this game to a next level on a Debbie. But talking about the teams, though, for Noctura Esports, they have been rebranded recently. But the members, players, we can just say that this is one of the star teams, right? Star-studded team. All of the members are so good individually, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when we talked about in this tournament, right? They have made this lineup, and they are able to perform so well, and we can see that they were able to come out on top most of the time. It's just a fun factor that they usually meet out someone else who's much better. But then again, this is where they're going to be starting their journey back to revenge, right? And this is why it's important that they know exactly what they want to do. Noctura, Eternal, I think they are ready to rumble here yet again, and I would like to mention that the mid lane is important for Noctura because that is where they usually start to shine, and and it's important into this meta that you have a winning mid lane, especially into the hero side, because you really want to go for a late game hero into the mid side unless you have a Lunox and a fast clearing jungle, which usually doesn't happen, because when you can have a fast clearing jungle and a fast clearing mid lane all together in one place, why go for the difficult part, right? So I'm hoping that Noctura will be drafting for the mid lane, but for Eternal Torment, I feel like they are a jungle dependent team, so they might try to have a good factor, a good hero into the jungle.
True, I do agree with you on that, because if you see the way Noctura have been playing is more about individual gameplays, right? They just try to place one by one, and like you mentioned, Eternal Torment, they are a team that is kind of jungle dependent. Like if the jungle is performing, the rest of the team is having that confidence to go forth and really just get active around the map. But once their jungle start to get or trail behind in terms of farm, I feel they are kind of in terms of their gameplay. But since this is the best of one, I think no ego drafting is really required, right? You need to draft the best suited heroes that will be working, and given the fact that this will be a dangerous cross map, I feel locking those pick off heroes will be very important for both these teams.
That's what, and we have to go for the drafting here. This time around, we'll have Duba into the gold lane rather than Kyle, so they might even change up into the draft too. But nevertheless, both are equally skilled. Now, on to the other hand, though, Eternal Torment, they have the first pick. So the thing about this team is that whenever they are onto the first pick, they usually go for a aggression into the roam side. It's crazy Papu, right? He's very, very crazy. He's a kind of player that I would like to see using the Kali, right? Because whatever he goes for the engages is mostly risky, but it's still worth it most of the time. So let's see the bans though. Kalea will be taken away, and OC will be removing the Lancelot too. I think Saramon hasn't been playing the Lancelot in this tournament so far, so they are very consistent on banning this hero away.
Yeah, I think he's more on towards the utility. Sometimes he's going for the assassins as well, but it's very rare looking at. But I think a part of the reason could be that most of the games are taking place in Mumbai server, or maybe that, or maybe the other reason could be like in Bengal server he likes to play the assassins a lot more. I'm not sure like where he's situated right now, but I think either of the one, right? If he's in Mumbai, then he can actually play the assassin call, then he might like click on the assassin. So it depends on the server sometimes as well, because for playing this assassin, you really require a very stable connection, a low MS, so you can actually in and out very easily. But at the same time, looking at the bans from the side of Team Eternal Torment or ETR, I think they're trying to pick up the YSS for some reason.
They look like they are on a bathing for the Yi Shin now that they ban away the Yu Zhong. For Nocturna though, it's basically a red side ban, so there's nothing we can say about this. CCO is gonna be banned away unless they go for the Jushin right now, even though Grog is still available for grabs. So for Eternal Torment, what other hero are the choices that they can remove here? Kimmy, they can first pick. Gatot?
Maybe the Gatot, or maybe even the Hayabusa that they can ban, because if they want to prioritize the backline heroes, they won't like to just take away more, or even the Baxia. Okay, no, it's gonna be the Garut Kacha. You were right about that. I think the Garut Kacha also poses a threat for the backline equally, right?
Yeah, this looks like a Yi Shin pick, to be honest, but Eternal Torment, I don't feel like they should go for the Yi Shin into the first pick, so the Gimme is a very better option. Hilda actually removed by Nocturna, so should this be... Wait, the thing about Nocturna is that they love playing for Faden, he loves playing the Jushin, so they don't usually ban the Jushin. If they let go of the Jushin, they pick up the Hayabusa for Saramon. Exactly that. But hey, the Kimi was the better option, so that was actually, what we wanted into the first pick, so Kimi already gone. So this should be a Jushin and a Haya, right? Wait, Lapu, never mind, Lapu. Flex.
I think in this current meta, Lapu is the best hero to go for as a flex, right? Because we all know what he does. He can be flexed in the gold or the EXP, so equally with this Devil Fighter meta being active around, I think it's a very good choice. But Pusa is going to be very, very integral part of Team NOC's lineup, because he needs to mark the Kimi constantly, because we know what happens when the Kimi is free hitting, isn't it, Debbie?
Yeah, that's what... usually when I see Nocturna, they always pick out the Hayabusa into the first phase and let go of the mages. And that can actually work out here. No Zeus'in still banned away yet. Oh, Esmeralda will be picked here. So I feel like the Lapu can still be a flex. Basha into the option right now. So it should be a Zeus'in now, right? They should go for a Zeus'in now.
I think Zushin is better here. But apart from Zushin, I think nothing else actually can really go well here, isn't it?
It should be a Jushin, man. If it's any other hero, don't understand. But yeah, Faden is also comfortable on that. Whoa. So okay, they still want to go for the Hylos here. I don't know. I feel like Hylos is a little bit too early, but the fact that they have a Lapu and Hylos together is already a winning condition for Nocturna. But then again, the Hylos, as we can see onto the hands of Johan, it was more of a wall rather than a good initiator or an aggressor. So I hope it's not the same story here, because the Hylos cannot be put as just that, and I don't think it might be healing that good, and this might be stopping Eternal Torment to go for a marksman too. And I don't really think they play the marksman into the gold lane, Renaissance has been actively playing the Lapu into the gold, so that's also one option. But though, Fredrin taken away, even though they already saw the Basha.
I think the Baxia could still be a flex very much. I think we never know if the Baxia will be going to the jungle or to the roam, because either way it is a good hero for giving those early rotation, to give the early pressure on the map. But the Eve ban, I really like that because coupled with the high loss, there's very much slowdown that is available, and even the burst as well. At the same time, I feel if they still not keep the Zushin open, that could be a very good mid lane option for them because they have damage, the Hayabusa for the mid trio combination, right? The Zushin fits in perfectly for the draft. And apart from that, I think the Lunox could be one of those heroes that can work against those tanky heroes, but short range problem.
Lunox could be a great option, but he's gonna be needing a little bit of a good momentum here, and they might eventually require another tanky into the hands of Duba too. So Eternal Torment, it's a good time to ban out the mages here. I don't think they'll be banning out the marksman, just banning, wasting away another ban. Jushin Lunox a valid option. The Eve was also a good one, but I don't think Faden wanna go for the Eve here because they might need another aggressor into the mid side because there is already an assassin. Oh, at least it's what they banned, so they are manifesting a gold lane Lapu Lapu instead. So now a big variety of choices for Faden. So he can put it into the last part, and they can still flex the Lapu Lapu. So what are the options? Marksman or utility?
I think Hayabusa for the late game would be good though, but in the mid to late game at least, like the late game he kind of falls because he cannot mark the heroes properly. I think they need a bit more damage. If the Lapu Lapu is not gold, that is, the Zushin should be perfectly fine. But if they want to go for
okay,
the Uranus, right? It's just a good leaning hero against the Esmeralda, but still the Esmeralda can be flexed, right? And I don't know, like this kind of stops Eternal Torment from picking up the R-Lord because the Uranus has a better laning phase against the R-Lord. So that's one thing down. Apart from that, they might just lack damage if they for the Zushin here. So they might want to just respond back with some more damage, or at least in the mid to late game or early to mid game, something around that line. But for Eternal Torment, I think they're pretty good to go. But if they want to pick up an assassin, I think it might be very difficult for that assassin line. This point with this lineup from NOC.
Renaissance Heroes Ruby is actually banned, right? Okay, there we go. They wanna go for the marksman, so I feel like they are forced onto the marksman here, and the Khalid. Okay, this is definitely something that they can play with. 2 marksmen and 2 tanky. Okay, now there is what was I expecting from Faden.
Yep.
They needed another damage. I used to call him one trick first, and he used to get hurt a lot, but then again, he's good on that hero. I don't think he should listen to this, but he's very good on this hero. So, the fact that the carry was put into the last and the mate was put into the last for NOC, this is a very, very good closing from Faden here. This is a very good range. The carry and the Kimi too might be struggling, but we cannot forget there's always a dark coming through from the Khalid and the Esmeralda. So Eternal Torment, they need to have a very, very good mindset and synergy to try to break out this lineup NOC already have.
True. Because last game we saw the high loss not being enough for saving the mid laner, or the mage for the Zohan's lineup. I think this time, well, given that Faden has to perfectly position himself. Otherwise, I think he might be in very, very big trouble because there's so many people who will just dive onto him, and Kimi with the Traction Pulse can cancel out the Feather Airstrike, right? So there's a lot of factors that can actually come through, but in a way, the draft is executed properly. I think NOC, they have that early to mid game advantage. The late game kind of a bit fall off because they do not have that much of a scaling in terms of the damage, except for the high. Only if he gets the proper range or proper positioning can go for the flank and get some kills. Apart from that, Dimitia definitely has that late game advantage for going into this game.
It is also one factor about Faden onto the far side is that he's really playing like an assassin rather than a mage. So late game is also something that we have to focus on. So nevertheless, we will be heading into the Land of Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Stage for Mythic Showdown Season number 2. And we have another best of 1 series. It's gonna be Eternal Torment going against Noctura Esports. And they are gonna be seeing upon themselves who will be moving into the better bracket or who will be going down onto the loser bracket. You do not want to be onto the loser side, don't you?
Nope, not really, because it's going to put a lot of advantage, but at the same time, this early game advantage is going to be very important because the sooner you get the lead, sooner you can actually, put the pressure onto the team, the much advantage that you can get. As you can already see, Team NOC trying to put the pressure with Haruka being so in front, and even the rest of the troop is actually going in just for stealing that one jungle cramp. But it's going to be too much. Oh no, Crazy Papa
Wow.
takes on Duba.
Oh my
What?
goodness.
But again,
There might be
44.
another. Oh.
Yeah, no. Utterly chaotic. Like, both the teams, they're off an explosive start here.
You know, I was actually talking about Crazy Papu onto the Khalid, right? And he actually popped out the Khalid, something that I really wanted to see him play, and he's able to make out the aggression on top of that. Looking at the emblem so far, it's gonna be a 1v1 situation winner for Mr. Renaissance here onto the carry. I don't really know if you want to go for the solo kill onto the Lapu Lapu or not. But this Lapu Lapu, Mr. Duba, is a tanky frontliner, but he is down one death, so they cannot really go for that. The early aggression coming through from Noctura is definitely going to be into their favor right now, but still with the presence of the Khalid into the hands of Crazy Papu, very fitting name for him, they might eventually step out and past the mobility that the Versa already have.
Yeah, but again, the rotation is going to matter. Just like in the bot lane, you can see it's going to be a 3v2 situation. I hope team and Internal Tournament, they know about it. Hayabusa wants to go in. Saran still uses the Rogi Shadow Kill for the last moment. Trying to get the kill onto his Puni. This falls and they need to back out, but Crazy Papu joins the fight. He wants to go in against 3 members and they have out there going in. Down Saran with this. One more kill for the side of Team Eternal Torment, but they're looking for more. They're not really stopping. It's gonna be Tanakai falling. NOC, they're looking even under the turret. Faden takes down Crazy Papu. And with this, they will get the advantage for this turtle, but they do not have the jungler yet.
Puni, man, I feel like his is top down when he plays the utility, so I don't really like it. But it's a Bengal server, so definitely that has to be a little bit of a disadvantage for their side. But right now, Kimi taking down very low the turtle will be definitely into the hands of Mr. Saraman. That's gonna be a goal lead that they accumulated for the Hayabusa right now. Top lane, Dorinasen getting might be soloed.
Oh no, he survives, but Duba is really low as well. But that was a lot of aggression, even under the tier 1. Like, I would not have played a Lapu Lapu like that. Like, honestly, I think Duba is so keen on getting those skills, but is it really the best course of action burning up the flicker this early?
I feel like that has to be something that they have to watch out for. And yeah, it's good because both of their flickers are gone, so Renaissance can stay just a little bit down and they cannot go for the aggression, but Duba can also be a little bit less aggressive here because Crazy Papu might eventually try to focus onto the top side level ranking, though. I feel like Sararmon will be having the better rank rather than Puni because he was able to get the turtle, so the spacing and the farming speed is definitely going to be faster for Hayabusa right now, so they might be looking for engage Kimi, though. That's a zone onto Kai. Might be caught.
Oh, Kimi is trying to run, but the Glorious Pathway will be there to help him just get his HP back. But up top, Moon takes down Renoscent, and with this, they're looking for more. They're again not really stopping. Both the teams going for a full fledged fight. This time, Crazy Pup falling in the hands of Faden, and they're looking for even. Will be falling as well. The Ogi Shadow Kill onto the backline will take down Kai. With this 3 members falling down from side of Team Eternal Torment, completely opening up the map.
That was a good engage coming through from Kimi right there onto the Hylos. This is what you want to see the Hylos do, right? Going for the aggression, going for a little bit of a drone, and that's always going to be the follow coming through. But top lane, though, that is Faden with the Ezra trying to zone away Renaissance from his own turret, so they'll be able to have a very good time when taken down. But he's gonna be very healthy, so it's gonna be a wasted resources coming through from the side of Noctura. And now the turtle is gonna be up 0. It's gonna be under a second right there, and they might try to go for an engage because everyone have their resources except for Faden.
Yeah, I think, in a way, the way Eternal Torment are playing, they're trying to answer back the aggression, but they're not getting the best positioning because, like you mentioned, Faden will have that greater range with the Parsa and can mark down the backliner pretty easily, right? Because of which they are soaring with the advantage, they're soaring with the, bird in the sky. And even the jungle of Team Eternal Torment has been their own. And versus Duba, this time he cannot find an escape. The feather airstrike make sure that he falls. And with this, Team Eternal Torment, they're again losing their goal laner, but the Ogi Shadow Kill will miss out just slightly from taking down Kai. And with this, again, you can see the pressure being built up every time. They're looking for more and more NOC. Really, with this one, making the backyard of the jungle of Team Eternal Torment their own, and they're going for and look. With the flicker will save him, but not save him for not for long enough. Though he will be falling, but too overextended. Falling, and with this, I think Moon way too deep, way too in a bad position, will be falling. Even the feather airstrike will be taking him out of that.
Oh my god, this was an engage that was supposed to be in favor of ETR, but then again, that was Duba doing a very good job in trying to lower down the defenses, but then again, it is still in favor of ETR. Now they are forcing to try to take down the mid lane, but that is gonna be not good here, because this is gonna be the jungle taken down for the side of Noctura, so they have to be very careful on how they engage upon gold rank killing. Still, it's gonna be Haruka, which is, funnily enough, the XP lane, and it's going to be followed by Tatakai, another XP laner. So this is the battle of the XPs. The gold lanes are very, very slow onto this gold that they have right now. But onto the build so far, it's going to be Mr. Papu, Crazy Papu, onto this dominance. So that is definitely going to be a hybrid defense that he's going to be having right now. Corrosion side for the carry, still going to be needing at least 2 items to try to hit that much. But Bugor's part away, just for the zone, they might want to go for the mid.
Yeah, they might want to go for the mid, but they do not have the resources, do they? But again, you can see a lot of damage being dished out onto his Haruka, but he is a Uranus. He can heal back up. This, both the teams will go for the, for the re-engage, I mean. And the turtle is up. I think they might want to prioritize that, but so far you can see the level lead is on to Vizta Moon. He has been winning those trades off, right? And he has been getting those kills freely. And this lead that is there for Team NOC, it might just get broadened up. More they win this team fights, the more they'll secure those options. But I think they are really not playing so much objective focused in this game. They're really playing for the kill pressure. As you can see, they're still going for the bot. They might take one a fight here, Debbie.
That might be, but the 30% is already built up. I mean, used up by Puni there. So this is not a fight they did want to take for Eternal Torment. Crazy Papu, so didn't really go in. So I feel like this is also understandable for Noctura. It's gonna be a golden top carpet being laid. I think it's just for the the zone potential. So 2 resources being burned away. So this is not gonna be a fight that we're gonna be seeing. But level ranking though, Saramun still up on top, followed by Haruka and Tatakai. This guy has been farming a lot. Mid lane though, that might be a little bit of an engage coming through. Duba trying to go in with the bravest fighter, but not much of an engage. They have to go away and play it slow a little bit.
Hey, isn't it too late for the Sky Piercer to be built for the Kimi? Because we're already 8 minutes into the game. Like, it had to come earlier?
Yeah. I mean, he was forced to build out the NT heal first rather than the Sky Piercer, because that is definitely what they needed. The heal coming through from Haruka and Duba has been so good, and especially Kimi too with the Revitalize. They needed that NT heal first. So the Sky Piercer has to wait it out just a little bit. And the fact that, Kai have been dead once, so it's still not gonna be, being a problem for them. So it's still an okay build.
But I think until and unless Reno-san get that Trinity build, it's going to be very gameplay from the side of Team Eternal Torment, because you can see their buff is being invaded and there is no answer from that. And all they can do, they just can watch. It's going to be a problem for them, because if you think about the grand scale of the thing, losing those turrets, it's going to be really problematic.
That's right. You don't really want to see that, but that's going to be for the airstrike coming through. It's going to be the Sadako into the back lines. Ramon trying to go in for more, must not be having the damage enough. Haruka trying to go in onto the back lines, getting chunked down, but on the other hand, it's going to be the immunity. Kimi with a stun trying to come in. Crazy Papu will not be able to save Puni down. So Ramon with the kill up on top. That is something that they want to go for. The jungle down. Noctura can safely go for the Lord right now.
Yep, that was the advantage they were looking for in this team fight. They needed to take down the jungler, and that's what they did. They found it perfectly in peace for them, and they were more than happy with that. And with this, the Lord advantage will be in the hands of Team NOC, Noctura, and I don't think so there will be much answer back from the side of Team Eternal Torment, because one, they lack range, second, they lack the damage too. So, cannot really contest so well.
Exactly, man. This is something very important right now. Puni might be denied the red buff here, level 13, Ramen, and he is gonna be taking it down. Haruka with that much of a Soka will not be taking any damage just yet. So the bottom lane turret is what they want to go for. For the airstrike just to the zone, able to come in. That's gonna be the shadow kill. Not committed by Ramen. It's just the shadow, so it's gonna be okay. Crazy discipline coming through from side of Nocturna.
Yeah, I mean, they're still looking for more Eternal Torment. They want to go in for a fight with the Traction Pulse connecting, but Duba is so tanky. What do they do for that? And with this, the Glorious Path will be dropped down. The Feather Strike not really available, but it's still enough for Haruka to take down Puni. The damage is still there. Ogish has kill, but will be healed up with the Standguard. Feather Strike dropped. Moon will be falling, and with this Nocturne, they will find more kills, of course. Tatakai taken down. But it's a 1-4-1-3. The Lord up top gets cleared out though.
Yeah, that was a shadow kill onto Crazy Papu. So the heal was coming through, and Renosen was able to get a shutdown onto the Hayabusa. Though that was perfectly on point. But then again, they are gonna need a little bit of a time right now for Eternal Torment. They're still 11 minutes down, so it's still okay for them to defend onto the Lord because they do have a good clearance. It's gonna be Renosen, right? Who's gonna have to have a good positioning, or else the Farsa Phaeton here will be chunking out the bombs onto his head, and that's always gonna be the end of a carry. So you got to have a good spacing, and I feel like he's gonna need that malefic gun as fast as possible for the range, but it's gonna be Tatakai with the Athena seal, so that's gonna be another re-engage material. He can even defend out all the damage coming through from the Farsa too, so it's gonna be in favor for the side of Eternal Torment if they are able to have the items right on time.
Yeah, I think the items are going to be very, very important because, you know, the Trinity is there for Innocent, of course, but he needs a bit more. I think he needs the heal too, the Sea Halberd, of course, because there are a lot of high HP targets. The just will not be enough for him to actually punish them out or just shred the HP, because at this point they need to shred the HP as much as possible, because you can see Sarar Moon, he can be counted out in a way that his relevance will be falling off in the late game because they can just group up together and the damage will be distributed. But the problem is who's gonna go and cancel out the Air Strike that has been the main damage from the side of Team NOC, and they have so much front line with that. Like, what do you do about that?
That is the reason why it's important to have a good damage circle here. It could have been into this hands of Crazy Papu, but he's been, chunked down even before the zone of a team fight. But that might be a stun coming through onto Puni. That's gonna be Haruka trying to run away. I don't think this dude will be dying anytime soon. Renaissance is necessary if they want to take down the Uranus, and he is not around the vicinity, so they have to be very, very careful here. The Lord already up, and this will be another free Lord into the hands of Nectara.
Yeah, they have the goal lead, they have the economy in their pocket, so it's very difficult for Team Eternal Torment to actually go and contest. But again, the zone out from Haruka himself, and you can see the Feather Airstrike will be dropped down really quickly, chunking down the HP. But again, the Raging Sandstorm will be the re-engaged side of Team Eternal Torment will be using, but for how long can they hold it out? But no, neither of the team would want to just continue this charade any longer. To wait for the Lord, maybe end with that.
Gold 9k for the Hayabusa here. He got the damages, but this time around he's not as clean cursed as that we want him to be. But then again, he has been able to find the backlines most of the time, so that was actually a good point. And the fact that they have the Lord right now marching into the top lane is, this will be eventually what they needed. The first sub with the Joan, there's always going to be a dive coming through, and there might be a possibility that they'll be able to take at least 2 inhibitors down.
Yeah, with no holy defense, I think this should be much more easier for them. The Glorious Pathway drop down. The Lord is on the side of Team NOC, and now they're looking for the inhibitors first. They will be able to push down to the mid lane. Mid lane is still standing, but Kim is really chunk low. He uses that revitalize to survive. But again, Faden has to go back. See his HP chunked so low just by the Esmeralda. Duba again uses the bravest fighter, but still backing off. But the Eternal Torment, they want to find a re-engage here. They're looking for Haruka as well as the backliners. They're still trying to chase more. The Feather Airstrike will be dropped down. Once again, Rarmoon goes in and takes down 2 kills, double for him. With this, the damage dealers are down. It's only going to be Renosen, but they are really low HP. Esmeralda still not stopping. I will take down. With this, Team Eternal Torment, they're still trying. They're getting tormented this time around, though. And again,
I feel like this re-engage through. They should have focused on to the Vizta rather than the Uranus, don't you think? Because that was absolutely chaotic coming through from Eternal Torment. They could have gone for Faden, who does not have the Wings by Wings, or even the Flicker, but they were able to take him down, so that's actually okay. Goal advantage is definitely gonna be 1.1k. That is already a good amount of lead that NOC already accumulated. So 5k is what they have right now. They can make use of it, but still, 2 inhibitors down mid lane though. Okay, that's gonna be Saramon trying to go in onto Puni, not committing, but it's gonna be the 30th chance that has been wasted away.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the early game it was really evident that they can punish the member, but in the late game, I think side of Team Eternal Torment they have the scaling, which we have already talked about, isn't it? And at this point, the best thing they had done is buy enough time. You can see Rhinocent is almost close to completing his build, and that's going to be hurting. And even for Kai, he has picked up the DHS, meaning that there's 2 DHS available. The damage should be enough.
Yeah.
Even chunk down the frontliners very easily. It's going to be overtime. It's not like a burst damage that we're talking about, the shred damage, but enough. Rhinocent actually went for the Malefic gun instead of the Malefic. Malefic roar instead of the Malefic gun here.
I feel like he's been forced to build that out because there's always a chunky frontliner for the side of NOC Haruka, and there's also Kimi too, and there's also Duba as well. But Duba, talking of Duba, man, look at that dude into the mid side, able to get the mid lane, exposing it to the Lord. It will be into the hands of Saramon yet again. The Brave Fighter being popped, but that is a 12-second cooldown ultimate. You cannot really counter this the way. So now the base is completely naked. Sinryu, I know you want to hear that word, but the lanes are all exposed.
Yeah, they are exposed, and at this point, I think it's going to be a very difficult defense. As we have already talked about the range not being enough, but they have good wave clear, I would say. At least the very good thing that they have is wave clear. But with the Lord, it's going to be very difficult, though.
That's what we are talking about, man. But Faden does have the range. He will be able to chunk down the HPs of Renas, and even before he joined to the team fight, so that's definitely going to be a problem. So maybe sell out the boots for Renas and get the, Malefic gun.
Oh, did you see damage? Innocent chunking down Duba, like just few hits, and right now they will be going in with the Lord. The Feather Strike will be dropped down.
Oh, that's gonna be a glorious pathway as well, but it's gonna be the backline fade and take it very low. Tatakai with the damage, the Lord is still upper grass, the base is completely wide open. One more hit is what they want, and Eternal Torment won't be able to win this out, and OC with the victory healthily on point for them.
Okay, I'll forgive you this time for stealing away my thunder. It's just I'm getting mic nerfed this time around. So hey, that was a good PvP, Devi. Again, Team NOC will be the one winning this game out. It was not an easy victory, I would say, but an earned one. Fight for it for sure. Late game could have been a very problematic situation for them, but thankfully they found that window where they already took down the inhibitor turrets, and from there it was, I think, a very easy pathway for them to just go and end the game with the Lord. All they needed to do was just mark the, and they had so they had the Hayabusa very easily, and they were able to do it, and that's why they're able to win this game. But gotta give the props to the frontliner, man. They did an absolutely phenomenal job out there.
Haruka with the MVP. Okay, I'll have a complaint about this MVP though. I'm not saying Haruka did bad. All he did was stand, man. That was soaking out the damages. But the position coming through from Faden as well as Ramon was amazingly well done. And I think it's also, it came to a point that they have to share the MVPs at that point. Everyone played so good. There was always a point where they need to go for the team fights, and then they're always trying to. They are not going in all together, right? Overlapping each other. No, they were like, yeah, you do this guy, I'll do this guy, and we'll just camp it up together and go for that damages. And there was definitely something that they were excelling in. And of course, Haruka, he was able to have out the damages, and defenses, and he was able to soak out the damages coming through from Eternal Torment. And even Puni wasn't able to do anything onto the Bashia, because even though he was used as an anti-heal factor, he wasn't into the team fight most of the time. The 30th position has always been bursted down. It's it's always been wasted most of the time because they really go for an engage. For Noctura, they go for an engage on Puni because he was usually alone, and I feel like that is also one of a problem for Eternal Torment. When you play a Basha, you want to play around the Basha. You cannot really let the Basha go alone.
We did talk about this. They are very late game draft, and the Baxia, I feel, against the assassin it works, but if you're talking about taking the frontliners damage, it can do a good job. But at the end of the day, you cannot really rely on the Baxia to do so much for your team because it does not have the crowd control, right? So I think even though I don't know what I'm saying at this point, but I'll just continue. So even though he's there in the map, but at the long go or at the grand scale of the things, it becomes irrelevant in the late game because all he is there for is gonna be just soaking the damage. He can reduce the heal, but that's all about he can do. Nothing apart from that. Please don't go silent on me, Debbie, like this. I might just cry. I'm just kidding. Really?
I'm not going silent, man. I'm just
that was a long pause.
Making you feel like ghosting.
That was a long.
Well. Okay, that was long, huh? Well, nevertheless, we have to, I feel like I have a complaint about the Basha game style coming through from Eternal Torment. They, we already know that Puni is well versed onto the assassins rather than the utility, right? But even so, if you have a damage onto your side, right, just play alongside the Basha, and you wanna be ahead onto the Basha when you are into the jungle, even though it's not necessarily ahead, you want to be equalized onto the XP level. The goal can be behind, it's actually okay, but the experience level, you got to be in par with the opponent's side, and they weren't able to do that, right? So we can see here Rich Guy for Noctura Esports. It was Eternal, it was Ramen, right? He was having the free fall onto this well, and he was able to get the damage item done, and he was already full build very early on, and that was becoming a dangerous factor for Eternal Torment. Even the backlines couldn't survive.
Yeah, true. But I did think at one point that Eternal Torment could have found themselves a way to get back. While I saw, Renaissance dealing out so much damage towards Duba, I thought they could have been a way. But problem was they never got any of the lore in that game, so they never had the advantage in that field. So I think they really played that style from the very get-go, and Torment, because of the passive game plan, their draft really scaled very late into the game, and for NC, all they needed to do was just push, take the objectives, take the turtle, take the lord, and just deny the farm. Perfectly fine, I would say. Props to Payton for actually, giving the range advantage as well as the damage, but I think in a way the draft was really favoring for the side of team Eternal Torment in the late game, though. We never saw it.
That is the problem. I feel like, most of the late game hero drafters that we have seen for today hasn't been able to find the winning condition because Johan, right? They were expensive into the builds, into the draft, and even Eternal Torment too. They have the late game, but then again, I feel like it was actually well done by Noctura Esports here because we can see the carry was last picked, and they have a lot of viable options for Faden, right? And then when you see a carry, you're gonna be thirsting over the Farsa, and I think that's what Faden was feeling, right? When he saw the carry, like, come on, bro. Let me play the Farsa. That's my one trick hero. I'm not gonna be getting bronze now. I'm gonna be carrying, and I can see, and we can see into the team fights also how much of a zone potential he was doing. And there wasn't a dive, right? There wasn't anyone to go onto the Farsa because Tatakai was always busy trying to go onto the backlines, and he wasn't able to reach the Farsa there. He was always with the wings by wings and the flicker too, and that is a very, very mobile Farsa we have ever seen. And that became a factor for Eternal Torment to lose out.
I mean, Farsa is better than the Eve. That's what I have to say.
Exactly.
For the Hylos to actually save, right? Because the Hylos does not really necessarily have to think about how he can save the backline this time around. So I think for me, he was more focused on being the frontliner rather than saving his teammate. He did not have too much on his plate, so he could actually focus on what he needed to do instead of what the team needed him to do. So, anyway, it worked well. So congratulations to Team Noctura for moving to the 2-1 bracket. Fortunately for Eternal Torment, they will be having their test taken in the 1-2 bracket, the bracket of the survival. But this is the the very format of the tournament. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park. Very tough. But if we progress more, we will have one more game tonight, and it's going to be a good set of teams playing against each other. So be there, be watching. And for now, Debbie and I just have a talk why she wants to go silent on me, and Manish wants to ghost me. But apart from that, thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of it. And we'll just take a small break, and we'll be back in a jiffy. So be with us on the other side.